Today we're going to be looking at Lunar Tides in the color Smoky Navy. So I have my swatches labeled 1 through 12, but that is not synonymous with hair levels. I'll do pictures and clips near the end of the video, so the numbers just help us keep track of each swatch. These are human hair swatches, but the only one that is virgin hair is the number 4 black swatch. The rest have been chemically colored or bleached at some point in their existence. 1 is pink. I just kind of wanted to see what this would look like over pink. 2 is gray. 3 is a natural red. 4 is black. And then from 4 to 11 is a range that goes to platinum blonde. And then number 12 is a toned version of number 11. So to start, I'll take the dye directly from the container. I'll apply it to the top of each swatch. Some people do like to dilute their dyes, so I will do a diluted version at the bottom of each swatch after. Please keep in mind, everyone's hair is different, which means everyone's hair will take color differently. Also, different screens and monitors can make colors look different, especially undertones. So please just use my video as a reference for how this could possibly turn out for you. For the diluted version, we are going to do a 1:2 ratio, so that's going to be 1 part color to 2 parts diluter. If you're unsure what diluter is, the simple answer I like to give is that it's just something that lightens the color of your semi-permanent dye. I know each brand will make their own products that you can use that will have the same consistency, but I like to just use a plain white conditioner for my videos. To make sure that these absorb as much color as possible, I'm going to let these sit for about 3 hours. I will then rinse them out, and when they're dry, of course, I will meet you back here. So first thing I want to say is that I think someone is mowing their lawn. So if you can hear that in the background, I apologize. Second thing I want to say is that I am an affiliate with Lunar Tides. So if you like any of their product, you want to try any of their product, I do have a code for you where you can save 15% off of your purchase with code FLOXY. And like I said, this is an affiliate link, so I do earn a small commission off of each time this code is used, but of course that goes right back into my channel. And thank you if you do use my code. Okay, so even though this did make a difference on, I would say like number 6 and upward, I don't think this is super pigmented. So when I'm diluting my dyes, I default to a 1:4 ratio with 1 part of the dye, 4 part diluter. I'll swatch it, and depending on how light it is, I'll adjust my ratio or keep it the same. So when I did the 1:4 ratio, it actually turned out way lighter than I was expecting. So instead I did a 1:2 ratio with less diluter. But regardless, because it lightens up so fast, that tells me that it's not a super pigmented color. And that probably comes from the smokiness. I noticed that dyes that are kind of on the smoky side with less pigment and not as saturated tend to not be as pigmented. So realistically, I would suggest having at least the lightness of number 10 underneath if you're gonna use this. It did cover number 9 pretty well as well. I'm just worried about the longevity because sometimes even if you color your hair and it colors an initial application, it might wash out the next time you wash it if your hair isn't light enough or if it's virgin. So that is my warning to you. And even though I would say number 10 or lighter, I do like it on the number 11 the most on both the direct dye and the diluted. The darker the hair gets, it just starts to look a little bit closer to like a black and also less blue. So you get a lot more of that blue and smokiness on the platinum blonde. And I was actually a little bit surprised that it doesn't look that much different on number 12 either. If you have a lot of yellow in your hair, I would suggest probably trying to tone it before using a color like this. But if it's not super yellow, you're fine to not have to tone it. So number 1 was pink. I would say the direct dye definitely covered and the diluted section covered, but it almost turned like a smoky indigo and a lot less navy looking. Number 2 was gray, and usually number 2 tends to be the most cool toned, but in this case I feel like it looks the most smoky. It looks a little bit darker on top, and then the bottom again, it just seems like the saturation goes down a little bit if you have gray hair. You can still see a blue coming through, but compared to like the platinum blonde or the tone swatch, just not as much blue. And then of course the number 4 didn't take any color, but 3, 5, 6, and 7 all kind of look very similar. It almost has like a blackish green look on the darker hair, and you don't really start to see any blue until you hit the lightness of number 8. But the direct dye still has kind of a green tinge, which is why I recommended the number 9. And then you kind of get rid of that greenish tinge on the diluted section for number 11 and onward. And thankfully, this is not the only like smoky-ish blue that I've done, so I do have 2 comparisons for you guys. The first one I'm gonna do is the least similar out of the 2, and it's gonna be Lime Crime in the color Blue Smoke. This is comparable to number 12, number 11, and number 10. So side note, you can just tell even by my numbering system that I do things a little bit differently versus how I used to do them. And one of those differences is that I would do 2 diluted sections before. So this is diluted and then I would dilute it even more. So that's why it kind of looks like it's fading out near the ends. I feel like the ends sometimes looking a little bit faded can distract from the direct dye section, so I'm gonna cover it with a piece of paper. So to me, the Blue Smoke is almost like a very, very, very blue toned gray. I'm sure you can tell even the platinum blondes next to each other, this ends up looking like it's a lot more gray versus the smoky navy. Honestly, I feel like the Blue Smoke looks the best on the toned swatch. So I'm thinking that if you wanted to use the smoky blue, you'd be better off toning your hair first, making sure it's very, very cool toned before using it, if you want to especially get those blue tones through. Blue Smoke also seems like it's even less pigmented than the smoky navy, so you're going to want very light hair for that as well. But it is lighter than smoky navy and less blue. So maybe if smoky navy is too blue for you, the Blue Smoke might be a better option. But again, I feel like that blue for the Blue Smoke really only comes through on the swatches that are super cool toned to begin with. The other color I wanted to compare this to is Arctic Fox in the color Blue Jean Baby. So this is comparable to number 12, number 11, and number 10. So again, I used to do the 2 separate diluted parts. So I think I'll cover up the swatches with paper again in a moment. But I do want to note that the Blue Jean Baby looks quite green even on the first diluted section, which I would say is probably more comparable to that. So it looks like Smoky Navy has a much more blue undertone than the Blue Jean Baby. I know Lunar Tides has a color called Smoky Teal. I'm wondering if maybe Blue Jean Baby is a lot more like Smoky Teal. We'll see in the future when I get that far. But as of right now, it looks like Blue Jean Baby definitely does lean a little bit more of like a bluish green. And then if we look at the direct dye, again, there is a slight undertone difference, but it's kind of hard to tell, at least from where I'm sitting now, because they are both both on the darker side. They're not super duper duper dark, but definitely on the darker end of the spectrum. It is funny because I always thought Blue Jean Baby was pretty cool toned, but now seeing it next to the Smoky Navy, I realize it's not quite as cool toned as I originally thought. But I would say the pigmentation is pretty similar as well. I remember Blue Jean Baby having a similar thing where it lightened up kind of fast, so I would say that they both have a similar pigmentation. Again, I think it's the smokiness that makes them like that. So in reality, it's kind of up to what color you want and how easily accessible these are. If you're looking for a more blue one, I think initially the Smoky Navy is a better option, but you can get a similar blue if you make sure your hair is very cool toned before using Blue Jean Baby. But even still, you can see that it's just a little bit more greenish blue versus the navy is very like true blue. And I'm almost wondering if the Smoky Navy being a true blue will help it to not fade to green. I don't know if my diluted sections are a perfect representation of how these colors fade, but I do think they show a little bit of what could happen. So I think there's more of a potential for Blue Jean Baby to fade green based off of these. But that doesn't mean the Smoky Navy wouldn't fade green. If anyone has experience with that in the comments, feel free to let us all know. And when I do Smoky Teal from Lunar Tides, if it does look similar to Blue Jean Baby, I will definitely compare those. So now I'd like to get into my before and after clips. Those, as well as anything you see near the end of the video, like pictures or more video clips, they'll all be done in natural lighting. Because I do use natural lighting, I will have to film on different days, and oftentimes the weather can affect how the lighting looks. So if the before and afters look kind of off from each other, that's probably why. I hope this video helped. If you have a request, I do have a link below to a Google form you can fill out, but just remember I only do brands that do not test on animals. Thank you so much to my patrons. Thank you so much to anyone who uses my code FLOXY, and thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video.